Welcome to Your Life in Film. I'm your host, Ted Bennett. Joining me this week, Felicity Wren. Felicity is Vice President of Development at the ISA, the International Screenwriters Association. She is also one of the founders of Unrestricted View Film Festival and also the Hen and Chickens Theatre. She also did some acting in her time. Felicity and I got on really well from the get-go, so that was really lovely. There is a moment where a fire alarm goes off in this, and that's why there's a bit of a weird break. You know, I don't normally care about spoilers because, fuck you all for not watching films. But we do spoil quite a lot of Project Hail Mary towards the end of this. It's in the last sort of 5 minutes. So if you don't want it spoiled for you, go and watch it. Don't do that thing of like, go watch it and come back. Just listen to my podcast and, then do whatever you like. We start the conversation talking about Felicity's recent trip to Tribeca in Cannes. So we'll lead right into that. So you said it was the first time you went to Tribeca. Like, is that just you don't normally do the festivals, or
we've done a few of them actually? Because basically, one of the contests that the ISA runs is a table read my screenplay contest, and so the prize is you get a table read of your screenplay, and we've done them in different places. In Hollywood, then you actually kind of go to a theatre and it's like happens in front of you with actors and stuff. But we did them at Austin Film Festival, Chicago International, New Orleans, the BFI in London, and Park City. So we did kind of like an array of these festivals. And then last year, for the first year, we took them to Cannes. And so then this was the second year of Cannes, but we're kind of reorganizing it a bit now, because the thing that happens is if you do it at the festival first, then you have to find actors who are at the festival that have free time, to actually be part of it. And then you spend, normally I'll be organizing it or narrating it. So I would spend a lot of my time not enjoying the festival, but just working on that. Yes. Whereas we actually found now that we do the recordings as a podcast so that it becomes a sales tool for the writer. Nice. And you can invite people to that podcast and it can do the whole thing because people don't get bored. And then you can just go to the film festival and go like, I'm an award-winning screenwriter. And the fact that you have this coming up, and we've got Randall Jackson, who's a director on Shrinking, doing this recent one.
That's good.
And so you can say that to someone and they know who he is, and then they also understand what it's going to be. And people can still ask you if they can have the podcast in the future, or can they, hear it. And because it exists now and it's not in the ether and it's not kind of like something magical that was a kind of theatrical event, it means that you can still, it's of worth after the event, which I think is a good thing. But so I've never been to Tribeca, but it was crazy because the Knicks were playing and it was, it was
crazy. That's just bonkers. And New York went mad for that.
Yeah, and with the day that we were the Wednesday, and then was it the Thursday night? The Wednesday night after our event. That's the night when they were 30 points down and then won by 1 point. So it was banana pants. America was on fire. New York was having the best dance party, street party of its life. And again, it was really humid there and thundery. So it felt like somehow magic was happening.
No, I get that. I will say, whenever I'm in New York, I feel like that anyway. Like, I love New York. I think it's probably my favorite US city for sure. But there's something about every time I'm in New York, I'm just like, I love it here. I absolutely love it here. And my brother lived there for about 10 years. And I was always like, I've got to get over there. I've got to figure it out. I've got to get over there. And then Trump got in. And I was like, nah, you're right. A buddy of mine lives in Queens. And whenever I go and visit him, it's quite nice going out of town. He lives quite close to Jamaica, the station. And it's just so easy just sort of be like, instead of going in, I just come out, go to Jamaica, get off, and just go one extra stop up the way. And I'm like, I'm at Vince's house. This is lovely. Yeah. And it's just normal, small America, but you're also only half an hour from the city. Nice.
When I went and stayed for the first time in America, in New York, I've been a few times. I stayed in Queens, stayed in Astoria. And I've stayed in Brooklyn since, and for me, there's no comparison now. I mean,
Yeah,
you can stay in Manhattan, 10 stars. I love the Lower East Side.
sure.
But if you are going to stay outside of it, then Queens Astoria is my second favorite. I love it down there.
I don't know what it is about New York. It hits every right point for me. Like, and I love it. And I don't know whether it's because cinema, as a kid, it was all those films like Spike's films that I was just like, oh, that's New York, and I love the look of that, and I want some of that. And then Mean Streets, you're like, I want some of that, and then when you get there, you're like, oh, it is like this. Oh,
Yeah,
and then it's all like, yeah, you're like, oh, I guess I get. I watched a lot of Seinfeld before we all found out, and like all that sort of upper was it Upper West Side? No, he's Upper East Side, isn't he? And Upper West Side, he's Upper West Side, and that's lovely. I love it up there.
Yeah. And Central Park's kind of magical. My friends got married in Central Park, and they
come on, that's nice.
A little bandstand, and then they kind of like rode across the lake to us, and then they got married in the bandstand, and then they'd hired the fairground, so everyone went on the fairground wearing matching sunglasses that they got for us, and then they got us rickshaws to the Carlton Hotel, and we had a reception. I mean, like it was a bougie kind of like fun wedding, but it was like so fun. What a way to get married.
I think as well, like New York is definitely one of those ones that if you've got the money, like you can experience the most wonderful of things. But even if you don't have the money, you can experience wonderful things in a completely different way. You can have a real after hours sort of situation where it's, mad hijinks in some random bar. It just appeals to no matter where you are. And that's why I think I love it. I think Liverpool is the only town, city in this country that I think is almost similar in my opinion. I love Liverpool for some reason.
Right. Oh, I love that. Yeah, I think I've passed through, but I've never really stayed in Liverpool.
Oh, it's great. It's great. It's really good fun.
Now I'm excited to go see. I just know This Morning filmed there, didn't it?
Yes, it did, on the docks.
Yeah.
There was the floating, and I was always amazed by that as a kid. And then I saw it, and I was like, oh, it's boring. I don't care about that.
Dream shattered.
Just into pieces. There used to be, I don't know if it's still there, but there used to be this pub opposite a strip club called Angels. And the friends I would go with would always want to go to the strip club. And strip clubs, I don't see the appeal. I obviously understand the appeal, but I don't enjoy them. So I'd always be like, oh, we're going to go to this pub. And the pub it would advertise triple like Jack and Coke for like $2.70.
Wow.
It was hideously cheap. And when you're downstairs in this pub, it is the most dribbly old man pub, pregnant lady behind the bar, eating walnut whips just nonstop. And you're like, okay, this is a rundown place. But then the footfall was so high, and you're like, where's everyone going? Like it's busy. What's going on? You look upstairs and everyone's going upstairs. And if you went upstairs, just a massive gay bar. And it was just like, oh, I love this. I love that downstairs it's old dribbly pints, and upstairs it's a massive gay bar. And it's just like these worlds are just happily coexisting. And I can be in here while my friends like to get hard-ons with each other. I don't know what they do over there. And it was just like, this is better.
Yeah, so, yeah. I would prefer to be in that bar too.
Yeah. I think I've been in one strip club and very quickly realized this wasn't for me. I was just like, I don't get it. And then just the looks on my mates' faces, I was like, I don't like seeing you like this. You've gone weird, boys. Like, you've gone a bit feral. I don't like that at all. So, yeah.
I went to one a couple of times as research when I was doing a play, and I had to be someone's sexual fantasy. So I learned the pole for 6 weeks.
Oh, nice.
And then went to a couple of strip clubs just to see what men's fantasy of women is.
Mm.
And it was a very kind of eye-opening experience. I didn't feel in the one I went to, the Hippodrome. I'm trying to think where it was. It wasn't the one in Leicester Square, but it was they wouldn't let us come in. It was me and my girlfriend, and they wouldn't let us come in
Mm.
without her partner, her husband.
Oh, right. Oh,
So they wouldn't let just two women in on their own. They had to bring a man with them in order to even enter the environment, which kind of was like, what if I was gay? You know what I mean? That
yeah.
seems
Gay women don't exist, and gay women don't like looking at women. That's just, we all know these facts. Come on.
so. So that was one thing, and then, but the women themselves, I actually thought were more empowered than sometimes they're portrayed.
Yes.
Um, and so it was just looking at, and my friend's husband was only there because we were there. He wasn't
Mm.
like, let's go, you know what I mean? He was like, oh,
Come on, let's do that research. Let's go
yeah.
do some research.
He was like, I'll come so you can go inside. So his face, and they were all over him, and his face, you could see, was like, ooh, help. But it was just looking at some of the people in there, and the stories they're telling themselves about how attractive they are, and that that they're going to get the real name from this person, and they're going
Oh,
to have
yeah.
this other relationship it's not a paid one. It's kind of a real thing. It's like a girlfriend outside of the club and all that.
Yeah.
I mean, it was kind of it's just kind of sad, really.
I think The Wrestler did it really well, where like Mickey Rourke sort of falls for Marissa Tomei, and then he thinks he's got sort of special perks and privileges, and not even in like a sexual way, just in a sort of like a familiarity way, and sort of thinking that they can meet up for a coffee or a drink outside, and it's like no, you're a client. That's all you are. That's all this is. It's transactional, and I realized that when I was speaking to some dancers and realizing like, oh, you're just exploiting like male loneliness. And the male sort of like the male audience that turns up, I think they know that. And as soon as I realized that, I was like, oh, I don't really care about this. As in like, we all know the deal. These blokes are lonely. These ladies are gonna make some money off of that. And they're gonna use that money to do whatever they want. And it's gonna be great. And it's like, great, crack on. Keep going.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know because I'm not a man, but I don't know if they might I don't know if that would be for me looking at the situation why they go. They don't think I'm lonely, so I'm going to go there. I think
No.
it might just be the underlying. So it is that looking for connection.
Yeah.
But it is that idea of looking for connection in a way that's only sexual, so superficial. So there is
Yes.
and that there's a weird power dynamic as well, I think, in sex clubs that
Yeah.
certain people want to exploit. They think they're in charge, but they're not. And I think some people still think they're in charge. And,
Well, they're the one with the bucket of pound coins. They're the ones that can say what's happening. They're the ones.
a bucket of pound coins. Is that what they get? They have to, you can't tuck that in your knickers.
You
How are you
can't.
going to do that?
I remember hearing that because we don't have, £1 notes, they go round with a box with a little cup, and you put a quid in it, and that feels so much like a penny drop game that it's just sort of like this feels. Thank you. Just pop it in the thing. It just feels like so odd. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not for me.
It's not for me either. I mean, I did it. I saw it. I went. I came. I didn't come. I went.
It's your business if you did.
No one came, but I saw. But it was. Yeah. I mean, it's. I think anyone. I'm all up for permission. Anyone can do exactly what they want as long as it's not hurting anyone else.
100%.
So I don't want to stop these things from existing. I wish that they were unionized and regulated and more safe sex for women and stuff.
I think that's the only thing that's always the case. It's like, let people do whatever they deem the right thing for them, and as long as no one's getting hurt, and that is through safeguarding, unionizing, doing all these things. But then by adding that layer, I do think that allows for corruption. And then you just get, I don't know, there's never a fix for it because scumbags will always be scumbags.
Well, I mean, there's a reason why sex trafficking exists, and continues to exist, and child sex trafficking and women being snatched off streets still. And,
Yeah.
it's not spoken about, but I think the Epstein files kind of showed another example, and like
Yeah.
another, of respected men who are really doing some incredibly disgusting things to young women, and some young men too. I mean, like, that's the thing that was awful about it. It was just children and then young women. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it does seem odd that it doesn't seem like there's anyone with any wealth or power. I say there isn't anyone. There are plenty of people with wealth and power who aren't pieces of shit. But it's really disheartening to find out that even like the golden dweeb that is Bill Gates was being a scumbag as well. And you're just like, oh, come on, Bill. Like, you didn't have to sleep with sex workers. Like, you didn't have to do that. You didn't have to cheat on your wife. You didn't have to then find out if you can secretly give her antibiotics because you don't want to give her an STD. You didn't have to do any of that. You could have just not done it. You could have just made your money, given 90% of it to charity, and we would have just accepted you. But
yeah, I think that's the thing. She really got to see who he was. I think she'd kind of like known something. I mean, because I think people do know, but I don't think she was in any way. I mean, the things that happened on that island were really another level of horror that I just don't think most people would think could happen or would happen.
No.
So I think finding that out about your ex, I mean, thank goodness she was already divorced and she'd already kind of said, he's a cheater, which is why. And rather than.
Well, that's the thing. Like, when they got the divorce, I was really surprised because I was like, oh, I thought those two were good. And, they do all that charity work. And then when it came out about all the Russian sex workers from Epstein, I was like, oh, she found that out.
Yeah.
And that was that. And it was like, good on her. Good on her. And also good on her for not airing his dirty laundry and being like, they were all of age. And yes, they were sex workers, and that's its own separate thing. But I'm not going to air your dirty laundry, but accept that it is going to come out one day. And I was like, oh, good on her. She just very maturely was like, oh, no, thank you.
Yeah. I think Mackenzie Bezos is one of my heroines.
Yeah.
It shows you that you can have loads of money and be a wonderful person. And she still has more money than when she divorced Jeff.
Yep.
And she's given so much of it away. But because she is so rich, it's still making more than she can kind of give away.
So hideous that I don't understand how that works.
But it's crazy. And when you think she's given away hundreds of millions of dollars, I mean, like, it's probably even more than that now. And that Jeff, in comparison, or Elon, won't give away a penny. And they could do all that, and they would still have like this in the same boat as her, which would be with more money than they had.
A friend of mine, I'm not going to name names, but a friend of mine is part of is it Patriotic Millionaires? Oh. And they're a group of millionaires who are campaigning to pay more tax.
That's good.
Because they're like, we don't need this much, other people do. And I was just like, oh, thank fuck that there are people like this, because it's just like, good. No one needs that much. Like, once you've got yourself settled, that's it. Like, get yourself settled, make sure you are all good, and then whatever is left over, just give it to other people. Give it to charitable causes. He's also an extremely charitable man. But it's just like, yeah, that's how you deal with wealth. It facilitates other people, but...
Well, I think it's the ridiculous thing that they think they don't owe it to anyone. When literally people work for them and go, have children that go to the schools, drive to work on the roads that were made through the public taxes, drink the water that is subsidized. We're all in it together. So paying your taxes just means that then the people that come and work for you and make you more money have a nicer life. So that's all you're doing. You're just giving it back that way, rather than, it's not going to some, I mean, you hope It's not going to a pot in the ground. It's actually going to help people. And the idea that they just did
Yeah.
it all by themselves, they did not.
No.
It's the Amazon workers that have made Jeff a multi-millionaire. And same with Elon. I mean, like, he has just bought companies. He is,
He hasn't done anything.
no.
Like, he has made nothing. Like, yet he has got $1 trillion.
He lost so much money, actually, this last week. He's not a trillionaire anymore already.
Good. Good.
But I mean, like, it's that whole thing. I don't think we can fathom money in that way, because isn't it? It's that whole. Did we talk about this last time about a million seconds is 11 days or something?
Yeah.
And
a billion is like 33 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's hideous. Like, and so I saw someone had posted a thing that said, if we were in the animal kingdom and one monkey had 1 trillion bananas, the rest of us would kill that monkey for their bananas. And it was like, it's true. We would. I don't know why we're not doing that now.
I mean, I like bananas, but I couldn't eat 1 trillion of them.
No. I'd give it a good old go, but you know what I mean? I'd have to make a lot of banana splits to really get through them.
Yeah, that's ice cream and chocolate, really. That's what you want, isn't it?
Come on.
Not really.
The bananas are in there. They're in there. Can't have a banana split without it. It's called a banana split.
Yeah, but you can have Sunday.
That's true. All right, I'll just have Sundays. I'll have 1,000 Sundays. You guys can have 1 trillion bananas. We're good to go. You mentioned briefly acting.
Yes.
Do you still perform?
It was one of those things that at the age of 7, I either had to choose between ballet or drama. And I spoke to my ballet teacher, and she looked at my second toe, your big toe and then the second toe. And my second toe is longer than the first one. And she went, "It's going to be miserable for you." And also, I was tall as well. So, because there's something about that second toe being long, because then it just goes, from when you go on to point.
Looking at mine, and I have the same thing. So I could never go on point. Is that what they're saying?
Yeah. So point, you could do it, but it's very painful, and it really does kind of, it's better if the toes slope down, and also that you're 5 foot and wafer thin. Whereas I was already pretty tall for a kid. So anyway, I chose drama. So I've really acted all my life, but and that's why I went to LA, is because I thought that what they need is like a British Meryl Streep that hasn't had her career but could have had her career. So
they're always looking out for fresh young talent.
Yeah. Well, just also as well, someone that hasn't had any work done that could be Meryl Streep's illegitimate daughter. It's really hard being an illegitimate daughter of a woman, though, because they have to be pregnant with you. It's much easier to be an illegitimate daughter of a man.
Yeah.
So I probably
just turn up.
Yeah. Just didn't think that through properly, but I thought it'd be fun to go and do that. And then when I got to LA, and I mean, the process, we were moving into self-tapes and all that stuff. So I realized that you need to have a really great American accent, and mine's okay. But the problem is, whenever you really lose it in emotion, your natural accent returns. And I think that's what happens quite a lot, even in the most skilled of performers. Also, British to American isn't as easy as an accent to swap as Irish to American or Australian to American. That is just the placement in the mouth of the tongue.
Yeah.
So I always think I hear British actors doing American all the time. And because when I lived there for 15 years, I was like, oh God, I can hear you even worse, because I was so used to American accents around me continually. So I thought there are a million brilliant female American actors that should be up for these roles, not me. But anyway, I tend to be like witchy, bitchy lawyers or a doctor, something like that, quite sometimes evil. And I had a lot of fun doing that, but I realized as well is that sometimes you are scrabbling around trying to get a role for a script that you don't really like that much. And so what I do now is, because my ex-husband, who I started the business I have in the UK with, Can you hear that washing machine above me?
I can, yes. It's fine. It's not bad. I can hear a little murmur.
I feel like it's going to. It's making my chair wobble. It's very exciting. But he's also a writer. So for our
Right.
first wedding anniversary, it's paper. So I bought him a
Yeah.
pad, and he wrote his first play, and we put it on at the Etc. Theatre in Camden. And then his second play we put on at the Hen and Chickens, and we've run that venue since 1999. And I like working with people that I know, whose work I admire, and who being in their work and helping them make the stuff, and finding the money, or putting together an incredible crew will help them and me, and it'd be an enjoyable process, because also it's so hard to make a movie. It really is. Oh, well, let's move to the pictures now.
Jesus.
Yeah, it'll be over very quickly.
Is it your washing?
No, it's my upstairs neighbour. Actually, this apartment is actually very, very quiet, apart from the washing machine moment. But
It's not that they're running the washing machine at 1 o'clock on a weekday in the middle of a fucking heat wave. That's weird. You'd have thought not to do that. Do you know what we should do? We should get a really hot motor, gunning it off in the middle of the day. That's what we should do. That'll make it better.
That's funny. Yeah. So I think the thing is, like, I guess the answer is that, like, the short, long, medium, round the corner answer is, if there's something really lovely that someone has we just did a proof of concept. Actually, I just produced a proof of concept on Monday for a horror film, and I did one of the voices in it. So, and actually my ex we played this married couple in it, and we don't get to see us, but we're on the phone, so you can kind of hear us on a speakerphone. And that was really fun to do, because I know the project, I like the script, and I was there as a producer. I put it together, but it was kind of also fun then to have a bit of a play around being a slightly spooky, weirdy lady. So I think that's the thing. Never say never, but also as well, I think I've drunk a lot of wine in my life, so remembering things is harder.
Fair. You'll just have to get the lines fed through an ear piece.
Oh yeah,
that's all you need.
It's so terrible. I mean, you could
Just
never do that.
Do it with a bit of a turn,
Just pretend you're in an SNL sketch and they just have it written out all around the room.
Yeah, but just don't Jimmy Fallon it and, like, always be laughing,
Yeah. So, but yeah, it was interesting. It's a very sad scene, and Felicity just seemed to be laughing all the way through it and looking in one direction in particular. And there was this sound of boards clattering to the floor.
Look, everything is an audition for SNL. We all know that. We all want to be on SNL.
Yeah, makes sense. But it's such a fun thing to do when there's no pressure on it. But when it's all you do,
yes,
it's you don't go on holiday. You spend all your time obsessing. People I know that are actors full time spend so much of their existence bigging up projects, or saying, I nearly got that. Or there was a friend who was always like, I was so close, I was down to the last two on this one. And you just felt it doesn't matter, you didn't do it. And yet and I don't mind, but other people, if they find out you're an actor, just say, what have you done and who are you? And, almost, why do you exist if I haven't seen you on Coronation Street? Or why don't you just go on EastEnders? And you're like, well, yeah, that would be good.
Exactly that. It's like, why? Well, have you been on a soap? Would I have seen you on a soap? It's like, no, but I was in a very well received, short or a film. And it's like, would I have seen that? I don't know. Do you go to art festivals? Yeah. No. Well, then you wouldn't have seen my work.
Well, it's also like, you wouldn't ask an accountant to do a big sum, or it's
right. Well, I would.
You would. It. Oh, well, that makes sense.
Get that calculator. Well, you got a Casio. No chance, mate.
What percentage of taxes am I paying?
And then just be like, go on. What? Okay.
Not impressed, mate. Not impressed. But yeah, no, I think that's the thing. If they find out you're a singer or an actor and they're like, do a bit. Yeah, well, I mean, I think people are like that than they used to be. I think reality TV maybe helped with that. I don't know. It's one of those weird things, because then it made people think that they could be an actor, and it's actually really one of the hardest things to lose yourself. And really take on the persona, the energy, the heart rate, the tempo of someone else, and really live in their shoes for a bit. And I think when I was younger, I really enjoyed that. now, because I'm much happier with myself, I'm like, oh no, I'll just stay over here being this.
Doesn't it? It
being
does
this
feel
woman.
a bit like that. You just think like when I'm full of angst and misery and stuff, like I just want to get it out of me. And then as soon as you sort of been a bit more like, I'm all right, actually. You sort of like, I don't need to yell or scream or cry on demand. I'm
Yeah.
okay. You're always trying to do that, bigging yourself up because you don't know who's listening. Because if a producer's listening, you want to be like, I'm doing really well and I've been doing this, and it's like, oh, have you? Well, I need someone like you perfectly. Whereas when you speak to someone a lot more familiar with it, you're just sort of like, oh, I've done fuck all for 6 months, and I'd be lucky if I've had a phone call from anyone that's of any use. And you'll say that, and then the next day you'll be like, oh, we got it.
I think that whole thing about being real, though, is something that in this industry, because it's so expensive,
Yeah.
even shorts are thousands and thousands of pounds.
Yeah.
We made a short for a proof of concept for a movie, not this one that we did before, and it was $42,000, and we shot it in 2.5 days, and it was still that much money. After we'd paid for the music rights and hired a parking structure. Honestly, hiring a parking structure, very expensive. Portaloos because they ripped out the toilets. All fun things like that. It's so much money. So I think just having someone that you are friends with, that you can trust, that you can rely on, is so much more important than how impressive your
Yeah. I was telling someone actually last night that they were complimenting me on this podcast I do, and they said, it's really good. It's all like, it's nice because it's quite a positive one as well. And I was like, the stuff that gets cut the most is when we just start bitching about the industry, right? Because everyone who's in the industry will be like, this fucking, oh my god, there's no money. Amazon are doing this to us, and it's just like, oh, I fucking hate. And I think like sometimes I actually keep that in because I want everyone to know, but then I'm like, no, because I don't want to dissuade any of the people who are like, I really want to give it a go. It's like, give it a go. Give it a go. It's miserable, but it can be very rewarding. But give it a go. I don't want people to not give it a go.
I think if you knew how hard it was going to be, you'd never start.
Yes.
So it's good that you don't know. And therefore you can go into it with this blind optimism and learn so much along the way. And
you might be one of the fortunate ones that don't get the misery straight off the bat. You might get a couple of good runs that gives you the energy.
Yeah. And I think you have to really go, why am I doing this? What is the point of me doing this? If it's a vanity project for you, because you think that you should be a film producer or a film director, then honestly, there's like 50 million other things you could do instead that will probably make you happier.
So many.
And I think that's the thing, is like, it's telling stories, even being a writer, is very much a calling, because you're flaying yourself open, whether you think you're hiding it or not, you're not. So, and you are also working out what you think about life, what you think, the things that are your problems in your life, how you feel about yourself, how you feel about your family, how you feel about society in all of your work without even realizing you're doing so. And this is, I always say, kind of very hard but worthwhile therapy, that you don't kind of sit with someone asking the questions, you ask yourself the questions, and then your characters argue it out for you. So you have to really want to do it, but it's lonely and it can be soul destroying, and people don't get it, and people don't realize how hard it is. And there are so many people that once if you're lucky enough to get it produced, someone on the day will say, I don't think my character would say this.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, you don't know anything about how hard it was to put this together and how long that writer probably struggled with getting that exactly right, the dialogue, the tempo, the kind of pacing, the difference between how people speak, the subtext in something. And it's just sometimes because it might be especially if the actor is hiding from something too. Sometimes they want to
Yes.
change it because they don't want to admit that to themselves. So it's a really, but it's love. That's why I love it. It's because that's what so makes it so juicy.
But that's the thing. It's the juiciness and the like. I can't not do it. Like
Mm.
it's. I will spend weeks just being like, oh, I should just go get a job. I don't care what one. I should just go get a job and give up on this and not do anything else. And then I'll get really funked out about it. And I'll be like, this is the shittest. And then all of a sudden I'll be like, but the character could get out of the situation like that. And I'll just start writing it. It's like, I can't not. It's just, a creative person has to create. And if their output is that storytelling way, that's it. And when you mentioned writing like a novel, friends of mine who have written novels, they have said to me like, "Have you ever thought about it?" And I was like, "That'd be offensive. I'm not a novelist. Like, that's not what I do." And they're like, "Yeah, but you tell stories." I'm like, "That's not what I do. I tell it in a screenplay and in film, but I would never write a novel because that. Oh no!" And it's that calling thing. It's like I can't write a book. I'm sure I could, but I can't write a book because it's just not in me. So I don't. Whereas other people, their day to day is I work so I can go on holiday and have a nice time. And that's what they're like, everything is focused on. I want it as easy as possible in my life. And sometimes I'm very jealous of that. I just think, like, oh, that must be nice. It must be really nice just cracking on with a
I
day job.
Yeah, I mean, I have thought that. I thought it would be kind of interesting to be stupid because you wouldn't mind, you know.
Mm,
And there would be certain menial task jobs that
yeah,
you could get great satisfaction from because you weren't hoping for anything else and you weren't having an
true.
existential crisis. And you could do those very happily, leave and not have to think about them again,
Yeah,
and have a very sweet, nice life. But I feel at the same time, being complicated, being um, someone who's interested in the world and how it works and people and community and chaos, um, yeah, it means that you just have a different flavor to your life. But none
yeah,
of them are wrong. I mean, they're all whatever you choose to make it. And I think as long as you don't beat yourself up too much, and I think that what I like about writing, which I think in nowadays, because we're so obsessed with our phones, and as someone who is truly addicted to Instagram, I know I am. I can't pretend otherwise. Is that if you're working on a story or you're thinking about a character and there's a problem you have to solve, or you're thinking about the next thing that's going to happen because of what's happening with them inside them, starting from character, is it means that you don't reach for your phone. You're actually
mm,
away in this world, creating, making this character. Well, they could do that, and they could, and that freedom from just watching in the kind of like a switched off drone like existence of
yeah,
just the scroll. I mean, just to spend 5 minutes thinking about a story would, and I think that's the thing. You only need to sit down for five, and then if you get into it, then you'll be there for an hour in the flow.
yeah. And a friend wanted to start writing a novel recently, and I was very much like, don't feel bad if you don't have anything to write. Just because if it's not there, it's not there. Like, don't force it. My dad has this great sort of saying about creativity is a mouse in a mouse hole. You can look at that mouse hole all day, but the mouse won't poke his head out. And then one day you'll be doing something else, and out the corner of your eye, you'll see the mouse stick his head out, and that's creativity. You have to crack on. You have to keep going, and you have to one day that idea will just go there. It is, and
Mm.
then you'll spend 3 days straight just typing away. And I was saying to him, like, don't. I know some people subscribe to that 5,000 words a day or whatever it is, and it's like that's a good way to get in the habit of typing every day. But that doesn't necessarily mean like you have to come up with creative, good ideas every day. Like I've got ideas that I've gone, ooh, yeah, and then I've written it down in a notebook, and that's 10 years old. That idea, and I'll come back to it one day. But it's you just got to let it. That creativity just got to appear, and then you just got to be like, I'll act on it now. But otherwise, if you beat yourself up with like, no, I should be, why haven't I written? Why haven't I written my thing? Why have I not made my masterpiece yet? And it's like, you're not doing anything. That's probably not helping. Like, if you go live a life, writing things becomes a bit easier, but also you're not letting it germinate. You're not letting it build. You're not letting that idea flow naturally. You're forcing it, and it just doesn't work.
I think the shoulds, it's like you've got the bad case of the shoulds, and that actually doesn't help anybody. You get to, I choose to write, I choose to write, I choose to tell this story, I get to share my ideas with the world. Yeah. And that reframe of it, and also just on the days when you don't feel inspired, you can still write about the fact that you don't feel very inspired today, and in writing that you don't feel very inspired today, you're getting better at typing. You're still thinking about why you're not very inspired. You're still using language. And I think the other thing to do is when you're really, especially if you're writing a novel, is to read other people's work. You need to be reading if you're a novelist. And I say to screenwriters a lot as well, you should read other people's screenplays, not to steal their ideas, but to understand.
The amount of people who, when they say sort of like, oh, I want to write a screenplay, I'm like, oh, what's your favorite like screenplay? And they're like, oh, I've never read one. And it's like, then why the fuck do you think you can write one? Like, that doesn't make sense. Read fucking screenplays, man. And read them while watching the film and see how they've differed. See how they've like distanced themselves. Seeing how that character isn't reading it how you've read it. And do all of that. And then go like, oh, that's interesting.
That's such a great learning tool. That's a very simple one, but I think people don't do it enough, and just really, especially if it's a film that you have studied and loved and it really connects with you, to get underneath why and to look at the writing and then see how much has changed in performance. And I also kind of feel that I like actors that turn into writers because they write characters very well, because they understand how that process works, where sometimes screenwriters are writing to plot rather than character, and so they make their characters do weird things.
That make no sense.
Like, I don't know if they'd do that after that. And it's just, what is that motivation, which sounds like a wanky word, but it is like, there's, even if it's not conscious, there's a reason why we do the next thing and the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And if you can make it so it feels obvious but quirky and magical or different or enlightening, then we'll get it. Because that's the trouble, is we're just speaking to each other, we're just trying to find each other, say, do you think the same way as I do about this? What do you think about that? That's what filmmakers are doing, that's what storytellers are doing. I think this, what do you think? Just try to open up a dialogue and a conversation. Even if they never actually speak to the person, it is still asking the question.
So I think that leads us quite nicely into, how long ago did you set up the ISA, and what kind of works are you doing?
Well, I actually only work for the ISA. The ISA is the International Screenwriters Association, and that was set up. It's 18 years old, that baby, and it was started by Craig James Petroviak, and basically he moved from Chicago to LA, and he was an actor. And he just kept realizing that he was getting ripped off everywhere he went. So, all the classes were too expensive. People, they said, I'll help you with your screenplay, weren't qualified. Yeah. So he said, I'll just build a website. I'll build a website, and all the resources I have found that are good, I'll put on there. And that's how it started. And about 12 years ago, I'm moving to LA because they need a British Meryl Streep and phase. And I'd been doing some acting, but I hadn't been earning any money. And then I met Craig at a screening of a mutual friend's quite awful horror movie.
Do you want to name it?
No. I actually can't even remember. There was just a very bad sex scene on a hospital bed, like a silver, in an abandoned kind of hospital. A very awkward sex scene on one of those metal beds, and it kind of has stuck with me. Anyway, so we met there, and he said, well, I'm going to Sundance and I'm doing a table read. We have a contest in my company and we're doing a table read looking for actors. So myself and my boyfriend at the time went, yeah, we'll come and do that.
Yeah.
Now, but that's how it started with me. And that was 12 and a half years ago. But I've always been the kind of person that goes, oh, I've got a few ideas. So at first I started working on the table read and I started organizing it. And then I worked with the writers of the winning contests. So there's a selection of contests they have, and it's really for the ISA to be able to find amazing writers, because actually it's quite hard to find new people and to then help them build community and try and get them out into the world. And so myself and my colleague at the time, Max Tim, decided to do this thing called the development slate. And I started looking for female writers. That's where I began, because it seemed like there were a lot of men that were winning contests, and the actual even submission numbers were low from women. Right. So I wanted to make the ISA a safe place so that female writers could understand that this is, if you submit here, it's a really fair group of readers. We're going to consider everybody. And I just started finding people that I thought they've got something special. And even if they're not quite ready yet, how can we help them be readier? How can I become a conduit to the industry, which feels so far away? And then how can we really help them help themselves? Because ultimately it's your career. It doesn't matter. Everyone's like, when I've got a manager, everything will change.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good luck with that. And unfortunately, they don't.
It's going to do shit all for you, really.
Well, unfortunately, at the beginning, there's a massive scattergun approach where they introduce you to everyone they know. And if something hits with that, then you're off to the races. But if nothing hits with that, then you won't hear anything again. Yeah. And then about 6 months later, you'll have to go to them and say, like, how am I doing? And they'll go like, yeah. Let me just see what we can do. And they might do another version of that. But that's the thing. Don't hand over your career to a manager or an agent or anyone else. This is your career. It's your journey. It's your life. What can you do to make sure that you are in charge of it? And I think creatives are always made to feel that somehow we should be grateful for having a manager or an agent or someone in your corner. Whereas actually, they don't make the thing, you do. And really, you're employing them. But somehow we've been made to feel it's completely the other way around. So I'm always like, get your stuff out there, build what you can, do as much as you can to work on your writer's resume. If you are a writer-director, make some stuff. Yeah. And then if you do start entering contests or you start entering fellowships or you get yourself in a film community or you are a veteran or you have some kind of other way to be found, then the right person will come to you. And then even then, remember, it's a 90-10 split. They get 10% of your wages, you get 90%. So that's the work ratio as well. So you have to remember that. So they won't get paid unless you're working. So they might fire you if you're not working, because if they're getting work out there and you're not getting the interview, you're going in for the general meeting and you keep blowing it, then it doesn't make sense.
No benefit to them.
Yeah. It is a transactional thing.
Yeah. I remember someone said to me, you'll get an agent when you don't need one. Like that's like, they don't want you while you're, when you think you need one, they won't want you. And then if you're doing enough work that they want to get a taste of what you're making, you don't need one then. So if that's the case, don't get one.
Well, I would say it's better not to have one than to have a bad one. And I think that's the thing is like, and don't ever rest on your laurels, even if you do get a manager. And the thing that it's different in the States than it is in the UK. In the States, a manager doesn't have to have, anyone could be a manager. Whereas an agent, you have to be accredited and you have to be signed up. And there's a whole kind of like association you have to join with.
Right.
Managers shape your career. An agent actually does the deals for you. And that's how it works in the US. I think in the UK, the agent manager thing is a bit more wrapped up and they do everything for you here. But I think really it's just understand that you are always going to have to do the work, whether you have an agent or a manager or not. But what they can do is they can get you into some rooms that maybe you can't get into by yourself.
That's true. And also probably get you 10% more money than you were expecting because they want their cut bigger.
Yeah, they can be a bit of a bunny boiler or a bulldog.
Well, I've having dealt with a few people's agents, it's very interesting seeing how certain agents will get more for some people. And I was working on a project, and one person's agent was just like, well, you need them for X amount of days, this is the rate. And then the other person's agent was saying like, well, you need them for X amount of days, but they're traveling a half day, so they want another half day's rate coming up. And then because you're taking over most of their working week, you got to take them for the whole week because they can't get another day here. And you're just like, all right, like let's work it out. And for essentially what is the same workload, one of them got more money, and I was just like, well done, yeah, like
Yeah.
it's well played. I'm not. I like the actor, so I'm not going to say no. I want them, but
Yeah,
I feel like I
and I
should tell
think
the other actor, like, sort your agent out
I know. I mean, like, how do you let them know that without letting them know that?
afterwards.
Yeah, yeah, but I feel like having someone in your corner, because negotiating those kind of deals is hard. But in the UK anyway, I do have my own company, and I have gone back to that, and that is Unrestricted View. And we started that, my ex-husband and I, in 1997.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're coming up for our 30-year anniversary next year of running
Jesus.
our company. And we started by running the Hen and Chickens Theatre in 1999. And then we branched out to Unrestricted View Film Festival in 2016. And we have 3 film festivals annually.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is BIFA accredited. And the horror one, so we have one in January, which is a LGBTQIA one in January.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have All Genre Festival in May. And then we have the Horror Festival in October.
Yeah.
And the All Genre Festival is BIFA accredited. And then we're so excited this October for our Horror Festival. BIFA has asked if they can be part of it and actually show
that's cool.
their shorts from past BIFA films, BIFA winners.
Oh, nice.
So that feels really nice. It feels like they're kind of saying, okay, well, you've been around for 11 years now.
Yeah.
We've got some very nice reviews on Film Freeway. And again, it's just, I love community. So I guess that's what I built at the ISA. And it's also something we'd already started to do with Unrestricted View, which was like make a theatre space that was really for creative people, that you could earn some money, you could make some mistakes.
Imagine that.
I know.
Earning some money.
Yeah. To do it again.
I will say, I didn't know that you were Unrestricted View.
Uh-huh.
And my film got rejected by you.
Oh.
It's fine. I won't add that in.
Oh my God, that's funny. To be honest with you, was it this genre one this year?
It was the it would have been the genre one in 2024.
24. I'll have to look you up. That's funny. I'm sorry.
Oh, don't worry about it. I used to take not being accepted into festivals as a very personal statement on my film until I started attending more festivals, and you realize that, well, actually sometimes it's got nothing to do with the quality of the film. It's just they see a trend that works and they're like, oh, for a program this works, so we'll do films that are about female revenge, and we've got enough of them that we could do that as our general theme. So this one doesn't quite work in it, doesn't get in. Or it's simply as one of the few people were like, I really like it, and the song goes, I don't like it, and they're like, all right. Like it's completely not a personal decision, like to accept or like withdraw a film. You just go on like, well, it was good, it wasn't as good as something else we got, or it just doesn't work for us. And yeah, when I figured that out, I was like, oh, okay, my film's amazing and everyone just doesn't get it.
I feel like, I mean, this genre one we had 600 submissions and we only showed 78 movies. So that's a lot of people to say no to.
Yes.
And I think you're absolutely right. There are trends. There's also a style. Certain festivals always have a taste and a niche and a kind of they reflect the people that run the festival, even though we have a whole big paid group of programmers that watch all the movies, and we make sure that everything is watched twice. That's part of our agreement.
Oh, nice.
But there is you can't help it. There's a flavor. Everything has a flavor. And that's why I think it's really great for all filmmakers, and actually necessary, to do their research and go, okay, would my film be a likely pick for this festival? And there are some that it's just no point spending the money. And there are others that that they get too many submissions and they don't have enough time to watch them. and that those ones you have to be careful with. And I think it's really about, okay, where would be really fun to go as well? I think going to the festival, making those friends, and actually
If you
showing
don't
up.
intend on going, don't submit.
Yeah.
Because there's no point.
Oh, one sec. Oh God, my cat was just like, "What the fuck is that?" Staring at it.
Is that who you giving your cat the thumbs up just then?
It was just
We're
staring,
okay.
going, "What the hell is that?" I'm like, "I'm with you, babe."
In this heat, you're going to make me listen to that?
I know. It was like quite a long one, wasn't it? That's the test, yeah, quite long.
So where do you live that they're doing a test? What is going on in your house?
It's like the halls of residence.
Yeah.
A student.
Good old Friday fire alarm. Never miss it. Make sure I'm in for it.
For that lovely dance.
Yeah, exactly. So you can just see the cat being like...
Yes.
Yeah. You guys did come very highly rated, though.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, we're really... I mean, the All Genre Festival, we had 6 venues. We did Everyman Islington,
Yes.
Everyman, King's Cross, Screen on the Green. Oh, that's Everyman Islington. Screen on the Green, yes. Luxendine, Islington, Genesis, Hoxton, Curzon, and the Hen and Chickens. And that we're really trying to grow it. And there is something amazing for a filmmaker to be able to see their film in a venue that they go and see theatrical releases in. It makes such a difference. I mean, I love the Hen and Chickens. It's our OG, and we've built our company from there. And it's so sweet in the little venue with the screen down. It does feel like a little private cinema. But there is something about being in Curzon Hoxton where you kind of get a drink from the bar before and go and see my, And we also try and do mixers, so there's always drinks.
Good.
And a chance for you to meet each other and chat. And because that's what we want to do as well, is make friends so that you then collaborate. And you can find someone else at the festival that you work with. And that was a nice thing about Tribeca, actually, when we did our pitch event there, is that even though a lot of people waited in line for a really long time to have a pitch in front of myself and Shana, who also works at the ISA, I did get some email messages from people saying, I stood in line, I pitched to the person I was next to. We had a great laugh. We went out for drinks. Thank you so much. I thought, well, then it didn't matter about us coming to pitch to us.
That's actually better. You're probably going to work now. Just pitching it to a room would have meant nothing.
Yeah, I mean, like they found someone and they were, oh, I like the way you think. Should we go and get a drink? And I just thought, well, that's it.
It's Daniel Klissman, the writer I'm working with at the moment on a short. I met him in a queue in Austin for something else. I can't remember what it was. And that's the thing. I don't remember what it was that we were queuing up for, but I met him in the queue. 2 years later, we're still messaging each other and we're working on a script. And it's like, yeah, that was clearly better than whatever the thing I was doing was, So that's about just getting out there and just chatting.
Yeah, I agree. Sorry to interrupt you, but I think that's why you should go to festivals even when you don't have a film in them. If it's something you'd like to go to in the future, if it's a festival that you're kind of scoping out, even if you go for one day, go and look at how the venue is. Go and if they've got an opening night party, go to that if you can, because especially the smaller ones, if it's in a bar, go scope it out and meet some other people. This is my second time in Cannes this year, and Cannes is a very friendly festival. But there are WhatsApp groups that you kind of want to get on, even though, oh my God, I have to silence my phone when I was there because there'd be 150 messages from people just all chatting. But they were like, I've got an extra ticket for this, or someone's going here. And that, if you're trying to find community, or if you're trying to meet some other people, or if you've gone to Cannes by yourself, you've gone to a film festival by yourself, you don't know anyone. It's a way to kind of, and I think actually that's probably a good idea. I'm just thinking I probably will create a WhatsApp group for the Unrestricted View Horror Film Festival so that all the filmmakers can talk to each other. And
I think, that is the better one. The better way to do it is that you encourage conversation between the filmmakers, because that's that's where the film's going to get made. You can get the audience, like, get them drummed up for it, because that's great, but that's not going to encourage more work between people. If you get a writer from this and a producer from that, or an actor from this and a director from that, and just get them together, something might happen. The worst is when it's just a room of directors, because then it's like, well, none of you are going to fucking produce my film, are you?
Well, I feel like it's the same with comedians, like a room of comedians, and then no one's laughing at the jokes.
Were you an Angel resident for a while? Because obviously, if you're doing Screen in the Green, your theatre, like, that's all Angel, isn't it?
Yeah, Highbury and Islington. I was actually, I lived near Caledonian Road, so I could walk to the
Whereabouts?
theatre in 20 minutes, just off the North Road. There's that Pleasance Theatre at the back there.
Yeah.
By the Tube, just there on the little street, Street.
I lived on Cali Road.
Yeah. I mean, I actually moved there because when they were building the Channel Tunnel in 2005, and it was, I was just kind of like, if this happens, then the idea of being able to go one stop to King's Cross and then to Paris.
Straight in. Beautiful.
And also, I wanted to live somewhere after living in Highgate, and then I lived in Bloomsbury for a bit, which I absolutely loved. Oh my God, living there was amazing. Anyone would come into town, there'd be like 10 p.m. and say, do you want a drink? I'd be like, yeah, I'll be there in a minute. I could walk there. It was that was my favorite. But then I thought Caledonian Road, or kind of near there, is still walkable on New Year's Eve, which is one of the things also I was thinking about, because trying to get home on some of those nights when it was late, and just thinking, oh God, a cab. We lived south of the river when I was married, and oh my goodness, trying to get a cab there was just horrific. So never again there. But yeah, I enjoyed living there, but it was a bit rough, right? Were you near the prison?
Yes, I was.
Or in the prison?
I was in. That's where I was. I mean, it was a ladies' prison. Lucky me. No, I don't know why that would be lucky at all. No, I was like Holloway Road, end of Kelly Road, and because I went to uni at London Met, so I lived on Kelly Road and just walked over every day. And yeah, like, it was kind of rough, but then I moved to Tottenham and found out what rough really was.
Yeah, I was going to say, actually, that's a nicer end. I quite like Holloway Road because it's such a mishmash of all sorts of things, but it feels very friendly and neighbourhoody, and and I think Cali Road just has got a dodgy bit in the middle and then gets really nice again. Now it's been gentrified towards King's Cross.
Yeah.
But again, I like living there. I mean, I just wouldn't, when I moved back from LA, there's no way I'd move back to London just because, unless I was, absolutely loaded and living somewhere like Belsize Park or something. But even then, when I was
don't know if I could.
LA, it's like I call it the land of sharp elbows, because it feels like everyone's, and no one gets out of your way on the street. And I've lived in LA for 15 years where no one else walks, so I'd be completely alone walking on the pavement,
the dream,
taking up all the pavement.
Yeah.
So now it's just, but I like to go in. You know what I mean? I still love the buzz of it.
Yeah.
Like the excitement of London. It does feel like all possibilities are open, and something amazing is always on the edge of happening. And I've always had this buzz in my tummy of excitement about London and New York, like we were talking about earlier. Those two places are they really do get my juices going. I feel excited and alive, and it's good to be here and alive and on the planet.
It's a very lovely sentiment. It's very nice. Yes, there is something about London. It's also very nice that my brother mentioned a writing, there's like a writers' conference in July, the 12th of July. And he was sort of saying like, oh, should we just go to it? My buddy's like organizing it, so we could just go. And it was just like, yeah, where is it? And it's like, it's at the BFI. It's like, yeah, cool. Like, that sounds like such a lovely, go to the BFI, go to this conference, buy some fancy films, go home. Perfect.
I love the BFI.
I love it. I used to live Lambeth North, so just around the corner from it, and that was nice.
Yeah, so nice. And I think I love the different areas in that building.
Yeah.
And it has a quality of it that's kind of respectful to film, and at the same time, it's not too pretentious. You know, it hasn't disappeared up its own
Mm.
backside, but it does feel that it does really care about it, and there's a great honouring of film.
Yes. I did, when I was doing film journalism, for the BFI Film Festival, you just get put into like NFT 1 or 2, no, 2, and you would just sit and watch films all day, and it was lovely.
Yeah, yeah. I can imagine
nice.
that you would like that very much.
I did. Dark room in the summer, lovely. But yeah, we should get into the questions proper.
Yes.
So you haven't mentioned too many films in our chats, so it's going to be interesting to see what these choices are. But what was the first film you saw at the cinema?
I was thinking about this because um, it's gonna really give away my age, which is kind of hilarious and funny at the same time. But at the same time, when I looked up when this film first came out, I promise I wasn't alive. It was 1942.
You look great for it.
My dad was born in 1940, so I'd have been,
Weird.
I'd have been a miracle. Yeah. So anyway, it was Bambi is the first movie I remember seeing.
Oh,
As a child, and the animated version of it. And I remember sitting there with my mum and my younger sister, and me in the middle of the two of them. And my dad was probably there, but I just don't remember him being there. And of course, it was the moment when Bambi's mother is killed that alerted me to the idea that one day my mother might die. And
what
being
a time to be alive. Just
and being 4 years old, and I remember just because it also I can kind of still remember. I can have the vision of it in my head, you know, of that moment, and just kind of turning to my mom and just, I think I just went, "Woo!" You know, just like
yeah.
I'm sure there were a lot of tears.
Someone's gonna shoot you.
I think there were a lot of tears in the cinema on that moment, because one, it's a very very sad, poignant moment, and then two, there were a lot of little kiddies in that room that day. So I think that's kind of like that. It's definitely the first movie that I went to see, and it really was ingrained. And I'm sure my mom and dad were like, "Oh God, we should have." I guess you just didn't know what it was going to be about before you went back then. So
probably, we should have had a harder kid. That's what we should have had.
It was the 70s. What can I say? So it was very moving, but it's also something because I remember Thumper, one of the characters in Bambi, the rabbit, had a catchphrase that said, "If you ain't got nothing nice to say, don't say nothing." And that did become a kind of phrase of my childhood that was kind of scooped from that movie. And I think probably was a good learning. If there's a learning point to be had from that, it's just like, you haven't got nothing nice to say to him. And I haven't always lived by that. But it is I am one of these people that if I'm ever saying anything bad about anyone, even if they're in another country, they will have flown back, got off a plane, and be standing behind me as I say it. You know what I mean? I am just that person. I shouldn't ever say bad things about anybody because for some reason they always show up just as I'm doing it.
Mine is whoever I'm texting to be like, oh, for fuck's sake, this person. I know my brain has sabotaged me to go, you mean text it to that person exactly, right? And it's like, no, brain, don't do that. And it's like, well, when you hit send, I'll tell you who you sent it to. And it's like, oh, thanks, brain. Yeah, great. So yeah.
It's like a lottery.
It really is. Like, I'm going to be a dickhead to you. And that's it. No, it's if you haven't got anything nice to say, I have a similar one, but from Boys in the Hood, which is, he ain't fucking with you, so don't fuck with him.
Oh.
And that, to me, I watched that film a bit younger than I should have. And I was very much like, yeah, if no one's fucking with you, just don't fuck with them. Just leave them alone. And I agree with it. I think it's the same sentiment.
I think so too. I mean, it's not about saying something nice, but But yeah, I think letting people have their own autonomy is actually probably the kindest thing you can do for them and yourself. Meet
Yeah,
people where
and
they're at.
it annoys me when I get annoyed about something. You know, when I realize like I'm getting annoyed about something someone else has said and done that I can't change that. So why the fuck does it matter? Like, just let it go, and then I'll go tell my therapist about it for about 3 hours, and
And then you can
he can
let
go on. Then he can go on holiday and have a lovely time.
So that person has helped your therapist have a lovely holiday. That's really nice.
Oh, big money, that person, big money. But hey, I'm keeping the economy running. That's how I see it. Okay, nice. And you went with your sister. Were you a cinema going family?
Uh, Not really, because it was the 70s. So there was a lot of hand-me-downs. So I kind of got clothes from my cousins, and we
Yeah,
went out for dinner on our birthdays, with this idea of eating out all the time, and coffee
no,
shops on the go didn't exist.
no.
It was a different time. So even going to the cinema, although it wasn't that expensive, uh,
Still a treat.
was still a treat. But I do remember actually that we did used to go on Saturday afternoons. God, this has just popped up as a memory. So maybe we're more than I'm now giving my parents credit for. And there was a short little kind of film that ran alongside the main film, which I can't remember any of those. And it was a thing called Chico Chico the Rainmaker. And it's
Yes.
kind of
So
some like I think shrunken head, kind of Amazonian weird.
but it was a short Disney, wasn't it?
Was it?
I think so.
I mean, I would really want to look it up now, but I mean, like but it was. I just remember it being very odd.
No, it wasn't. The Boy with Two Heads. Oh, it was a 7-part children's television series. Oh.
Yeah, Chico Chico the Rainmaker, 1974 film. Uh, Jonathan Ingram's. Yeah, I mean,
Leslie Ash. Come on. Eh?
but I'm trying to think what it was. An antique shop that contains an eerie shrunken head. So shrunken head was still in there.
Yeah.
A tribal witch doctor from the jungles of the Amazon. See, I did remember some of it. I mean, it really is quite. But that is the thing that's stuck in my mind after all.
I'm going to have to track this down.
So we did used to go more than I thought. I think actually, but I think that's like everything. They're giving you everything as a child, and you're so ungrateful. Don't.
Oh, yeah. And that's. Fuck them. You know? You want to try hard? Joke's on you. So where were you? Where did you grow up? Like, what was the local cinema? Was there a brand? Was it a little local place? What was the deal?
I grew up in Leigh-on-Sea in Essex, and I seem to remember this was like the South End Odeon or something like that. So it was a bit of a journey to get there in the car, and then but it was I do remember they had, maybe it was Saturday morning screenings. But I can't, if it was only a 7-part series, I don't quite understand how I seem to remember that was before every film. But anyway, but it was like a local little cinema, and it was a fun thing to do. But we really did everything. We used to go swimming. I remember eating chipsticks after swimming. I had a very nice childhood. They really did look after us. The only thing they did do that was wrong was show me Bambi age 4.
There we go. Well, we won't dig any deeper into this. Come on. I don't want to see any money away from your therapist. Obviously, growing up in the 70s, there is less of a chance of being able to watch things over and over again. I guess you could only really watch things that were on telly. But was there anything that you watched over and over again?
I was thinking about this, and Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, actually.
Makes sense.
Because it seemed to be something that was shown a lot during Christmas time. It kind of would kind of appear back at Christmas time. And I'm a massive fan of Dick Van Dyke. I think he is an incredible human,
Mm,
and I mean, can do everything. When you
yeah,
think about his show, the Dick Van Dyke Show, back in the 60s, I guess, in America, and I mean, he's just
yeah.
done so much, and so
He can't do a Cockney accent.
that's it. He can do everything else, but even that somehow he's charming in it. You know what I mean? There's
Yes.
he has a way of getting away with things because I think he just is a genuinely delightful human.
Mm.
When you kind of
I don't,
hear him ever interviewed, or because he's 100 now, so I
yeah, still going.
still going,
Still tap dancing. He loves it.
and I think he stands for something, uh, that kind of vaudeville, all singing, all
Yes.
dancing American showman. But
Like I that's what I love about that montage at the beginning of Singing in the Rain, when it's, dignity, always dignity, and they're just like doing vaudeville stuff. I just thought, like, that's you don't get that anymore. You don't get those people that they have to perform, and they can sing, they can dance, they can be dramatic, they can do whatever it needs to be on that stage. I don't think you get performers like that anymore. I think a lot more people now just hone it to a very specific, like, no, 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 I just do this. That's that. And I'll do it on TikTok.
I feel like a lot of actors are triple and quadruple threats. It's just whether or not they get the opportunity of showing it.
Fair, yeah.
Um, but those big set numbers that used to be part of movie
Mm.
making industry in massive studios with all those
Oh, yeah.
extras and all those dancers and all that um, theatricality that's also part of
Yeah.
the movies. There is something so magical about that. It seems so hopeful and naive and sweet,
Hmm.
and I think that's probably why I like this movie too, is because it's about family and, you know, someone trying to be an inventor, trying to be an entrepreneur,
Yeah.
not following the norm, being a bit different. Still a really great relationship with his dad, and
Yeah.
I kind of identified with the kids and wanting to be truly scrumptious. I mean, who doesn't want to be truly scrumptious?
True.
And she, she was this vision in chiffon, and I lived by the sea, and there's that big scene where the car gets stuck in the sand and the water
Hmm.
comes in and then it turns into a boat, and all this kind of use of imagination and fantasy and problem solving
Yeah.
into magic. It kind of just really appealed to me, and it's something that there's always something new to spot. I think when you watch this movie, there's another thing to really understand, or see that there's a little in joke, or see the director putting something in there, or a really great bit of performance. I mean, the woman that played Truly Scrumptious, who then, because there's a moment where they're in the castle, in the king's castle, and they have to go and rescue all the children, and she's
Mm.
playing a marionette on a musical box, and that, I mean, I don't know how long they shot that sequence for, where that is her and Dick Van Dyke, Sally Ann Howes, and Dick Van Dyke kind of doing this kind of like robotic moments and all on this
Yeah.
dance. And the child catcher. I also like the fact that
Yeah.
the villains are truly scary. So even though it's kind of a kids
Yes.
movie, they didn't sugarcoat it. It was a very frightening person.
Yeah. I think one of the problems that they try and humanize villains now, to understand their arc, why they became. I don't need to know. It's much scarier having no idea why they're just like funny games. Haneke's funny games. It's just like, why are these dickheads doing this? Doesn't matter. That's what's so horrible about it. They're just doing it, and it's like, oh, that's horrible, and it's just that's scary. Like if I'm told, like, well, the child catcher had a poor childhood, and it's like, and he's just jealous of that, and it's like, I don't
He
care.
just likes wearing black, growing his hair long.
Just hey, come on. Like I had to get a haircut the other day. Like,
You do not look like the child catcher, unless you've got like
thank you.
a wagon just downstairs that you can pull the lever and the sides fall off and it's a cage. I just remember that so much. And they were like, sweets, bring the sweets. And I was like, ah, because also I was a kid, so sweets were my favorite.
They're the best.
Yeah.
I did recently sell a truck, but there was no cage in it. So let's just put it like that.
Okay, that's good to know.
Okay. And I got an electric vehicle, I'm the opposite now. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not a truck guy with a cage.
Well, I'm sure your whole street is happier too.
I don't know. Some of the kids down here, I think they could do with being stolen, taken away to much nicer places.
That's
so were your parents creatives? Were they?
No, not at all. My mum was a secretary. She was extremely bright. And so she excelled in all her kind of O levels and A levels, and went to work in London. But it was the 60s. So there were only so many opportunities that were afforded to her. And then also on her 19th birthday, her parents gave her a suitcase and said she had to move out. So that was
very
nice.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Well, at 19, she's a spinster. They can't be looking after a spinster. Come on.
Well, when I think about it now and how babied we all are, with our, looked after, and she really was flung into the world. And so
but when you see 36, like Tony Soprano was younger than me in the first series of Sopranos, and I'm just like, but I still wear Crocs. What are you on about? Like, I can't wear chinos and a shirt and go and crack on with work. I'm a boy, and it's just like, no, you should be an adult like this man. And it's like, oh, yeah, I think there is a bit of babying, but then there's also things don't cost the same. It's not. I don't think being able to buy a house and being forced to be an adult is as easy as it used to be.
That's true. I mean, she didn't. It was back in the 60s, so again, she couldn't have a bank account on her own, so she actually had to move into my dad's family's house and stuff. So like it was not an easy time, is what I'm saying. So I think it kind of stunted any other massive other career she might have had. And then at 24, she had me. So, and then just only worked part-time after that. My dad was an electrical engineer, so he isn't creative, but he is an incredible artist. Yes. With technical drawings, and he can create buildings, which is kind of amazing, and like working out where all the electric's going to go and how it's going to. So he's got an eye in that. But no, I think my sister and I we were the generation where parents started treating their children really well. So we went to drama, ballet, horse riding, singing lessons, swimming at the weekends. It seems I went to the cinema every week. So all this other stuff was happening to give us a rich creative life. And so at 7, when we went to drama club, that's when I decided to pursue it.
Is your sister also a show pony like yourself?
Show pony. She loves dressage.
Just that step.
Yeah, she likes to trot. No, she did actually work in the creative industry. She was a stylist for a long time, so she did like Jude Law and bands back in the 2000s. Oh God,
back when there was money.
Well, yeah, I mean, like back when I think it's before it was a new job choosing how a band looked, you know what I mean? And what the kind of style was and what they were like presenting to the world. And she was really big friends with Jason Orange from Take That. And she was up in London a lot and was kind of very much part of that scene. And we did all do our acting together, but then she went to the grammar school and had a kind of quite more serious education, and then went and did that. And I did not go to the grammar school. I went to the secondary one school, but that's where I met someone who made me Lady Macbeth at the age of 15. So
There we go.
that's then I was like, oh, power, earrings, you know what I mean?
Please and thank you.
Yeah. I mean, so then it became words, became my thing. So I think basically we are the product of liberal parents that allowed us to have a choice and not just follow the norm and things that they couldn't. So I'm very grateful for that.
I always find it funny when I too have very liberal parents. Shock, surprise. And when you have liberal parents, the way that you rebel is you go work in finance. And it's the worst. I can't rebel in the same way because my parents have done it. So I had to go get a real job. It was miserable.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm very grateful that I have had a real job. I worked in an advertising agency for a couple of years.
Okay. I would even say that's still not quite a real job because the ad agency, there's still that creative element that is inherently more fun, but it is, veering into, Was it one of the big agencies?
It was called Archibald Ingalls Stretton. And they had like some really big companies like British Gas and stuff, and award-winning.
I was going to say, I know the name. I can't.
I think I know that my boss was John, who's one of the partners, and he sold his shares and went and lived in Corsica. When you know what I mean, and just like had this lovely life, and has a lovely wife, and has a really nice. So I kind of feel like that's good. You know what I mean? Did this amazing creative job, really enjoyed doing it for when he did. And then when he didn't want to do it anymore, he did something more interesting instead. And I think that's what we're all trying to do, right?
Totally.
But I started working there as a temp because I was going to be an actor. Again, this is like, I've had these times when I'm like, I'm going to give it a real go. So I started working there as a temp. They said, can you work the phones? I said, of course I can. Had no clue, and just put them all on my level. So I just put all the phones were like sent to the executives, the owners of the company, and the head of finance, going, "Hello, Archibald Ingalls Stretton," and I'm like, "Sorry, it's just gone. I didn't." And then
gone someone.
I missed that one. And then the next day they said, well, we're not going to put you on the phones anymore, but can you do this data entry? And I was like, okay. And then I'd done it in the day, and they were like, how have you completed all the? I obviously realized that no one was really working, but because I'd been working for myself, running the hen and chickens, and I'd been my own boss, I didn't realize that people in normal jobs don't do much work.
No.
And so
that was one of the first things I learned. My boss said, like, slow it down. And I'm like, but this is a day's work. They're like, that is a week's work, sir.
If you work for yourself, you just work completely differently. It's just such a different way of. And so on day 3, they offered me the office manager's role, and I stayed there for 2.5 years doing that. So I got a bit veered off again from doing the acting, but we had a mortgage to pay, and I had other concerns. So, but we were still running the Hen and Chickens Theatre, and then we were still being creative, and it just meant that we could afford to live. Because honestly, running a fringe theatre is never going to make you rich. You don't do it for the money.
That is purely for the love. There is nothing else in there. Okay. I got no segue for the next question, so I'm just going to shoehorn it right in. I hate that. What was the first 18 rated film you saw, and how old were you? No, come on. I got to think of a better way of segueing that. Come on.
Nothing. I was just thinking if I could do something to help. I mean, what were we just talking about? We were just talking about the
working at the ad agency.
Working hard. Oh, I mean, I guess it was like the movie I saw when I shouldn't have done was when I finished my exams. So we were having a girls' night. So I kind of think we were celebrating finishing something, before we were going to go and do our A-levels or go to work or whatever we were going to do. We're going to have this night, and we're going to take this summer off. We've all finished our exams, and we're all really happy. And we got 2 movies, and we were drinking wine, which at 15, I know you're not allowed, but we were supervised in some one of our.
Hey, Blue Nun, Baby Sham, it's all good.
Yeah. I'm sure there was some lemonade as well, probably, but wine with lemonade, let's be honest.
Of course there was. Camel spritzer.
Yeah. and lots of ice because I like ice in my wine. I'm from Essex, and so we got The Champ and we watched that, and that was kind of soppy, and I don't remember anything about it apart from that there was this shock of blonde hair, and then I fell in love with Robert Redford at other times in my life. So and David Bowie. So there's a kind of there's a hairstyle it seems I like, but also the person underneath it, not just the
Sure.
not quite that shallow. And the second bit, so we're all like, oh, that's so sweet, and we're a little bit drunk, and we're all like, oh, we've done ourselves, oh, la, la, la. And then we watched The Exorcist.
Perfect. Perfect.
It slightly chilled the room.
Yes, I imagine. Especially after a little Redford magic, and then just Pazuzu just looking at you from the darkness.
It was just, I think, because also I'd never been a horror person. That the closest I'd been to horror was Chico the Rainmaker, which is this shrunken head in the Amazon forest. We didn't go and see horror movies. That isn't what my family did. And
we weren't a horror family.
No. So suddenly to be in the situation where, and the young girl in The Exorcist is amazing.
Yes.
I mean, how the director got that performance out of her, it's incredible because you believe. I mean, I haven't seen it again. I feel like I've never seen it again since, and I probably will never, because in a way it lives in its moment there. Yeah. And if it looked ridiculous now, then I might be sad for who I was then, or I don't know. It might confuse me,
Don't rewatch it. Don't go back.
Don't need to rewatch it. But kind of watching her spin around, and the moment where "Help Me" comes up on her tummy from inside.
Oh yeah.
And that just, I was absolutely, we were all stone cold sober, and then like our parents came and picked us up, and we didn't stay the night. Everyone just wanted to go home. And I remember I said, I think I just did Hail Mary full of grace throughout the night. And I remember like lying in my bed, and my bed was, the duvet cover was pink with white hearts, and the wallpaper was white with pink hearts. I think that kind of tells you.
Yeah, that says a lot. Yeah.
And I was lying under the duvet with it up to my chin, with my parents going like, "Oh, you seem quite quiet." I was like, "Yeah," because I didn't want to admit what we'd watched.
No.
Couldn't tell them that we'd had this, that was a secret. And because they'd have been annoyed that we'd watched it. And I just remember saying my prayers, because I was raised a Catholic, so even I knew them. I knew my prayers. So I just laid there. And I remember that
reciting your Roman rituals for your exorcist.
The eyes being scratchy, like, because when the light changes, and it's almost like the old TVs when they used to switch off and it was like the haze. Yeah. It felt like that. And me just saying my prayers, trying not to be possessed by a demon.
Yeah, that's spot on. That's that. It's so weird how that film, like, my mum once thought I saw it because my brother joked and said like, "Oh, Ted's watched The Exorcist," and she stopped where she was and went, "You haven't, have you?" And I was like, "No, I haven't. Like, chill out, man." And I didn't watch it for years. Like, I didn't watch it until I was probably in my 20s. And I thought, like, I haven't seen it. I'll read it first. So I read it first. The book is beautiful. I'd recommend reading the book. But then I watched the film, and because I had only ever heard of it as the scariest, the most whatever, blah, 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 when I watched it, I was like, yeah, it's fine. You know what I mean? And I missed out. I didn't get to have the same shock that everyone else got, because I watched it 20 years too late. I read the book, so I knew what was coming. And it was all just like, So I'm really jealous when people are, they have these memories of The Exorcist. So when I say like don't rewatch it, it's like it's done exactly what it needs to do. So don't go back. It's not a bad film. Billy Friedkin's an amazing filmmaker, but don't ruin that magic for you.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely a core memory that's been burned into my psyche, and it is probably a coming of age moment of. And I think I really kind of avoided horror for quite a long time afterwards since, whereas now actually it's such a evergreen genre in my industry that I'm always reading horror scripts. And the thing I'm trying to find, though, is the one that really shines, is elevated, has a story in an original way, can really make you feel something in a fresh way, because it's,
Yeah.
I think there's something to be said for tropes. So you're like, okay, I know where we're going here.
Hmm.
But at the same time, unless it's clever or surprising, then it can also just be like, oh, okay, meh. And
Yeah.
I don't think anyone wants to make that film. No one wants to make the Met film. How was it?
No.
You know,
Well, I don't know if that's true. I think I know some people who, as long as they got paid, they wouldn't care.
really?
And I just think like, you please don't work in this industry. You're the fucking reason. Like, you know. I liked what George Romero said. George Romero said he never wanted to turn up to work, take a sip of coffee, sigh, and go, "Let's make this piece of shit." Then
Oh yeah.
he said he never wanted to turn up and say that. So he always made sure that he took less money to get more creative control, so he could make whatever he wanted, and the investors weren't too concerned, because it's like, well, he's not asking for millions; he's only asking for a couple 100,000, and he'll make that back, making a zombie picture. So he always made sure he got that right. Like he would take whatever the minimum he needed for himself. He's like, I'll take that for me. I don't care. And it's like that's how I see it. Like, if you can just, if you can make a living minimum wage doing this, but that means people are going to give you less grief. Perfect. You can make exactly what you want to make. And you don't got to worry about, feeling like you're making some fluff, gun for hire stuff. But hey, some people like it.
Yeah, it's a privilege to do what we do.
Sure.
And but I do think in the US in particular, how the crews were being treated and the length of the hours and
Yeah.
their turnarounds, there needed to be a moment where everyone took a step back and go, this is only filmmaking. And how can we treat people better? I mean, I feel like it's a bit of an American dream moment anyway, in the fact that they do work, they live to work. It is
Yeah.
definitely part of the psyche.
I love it. I love work.
You don't have a choice. I don't even know if they love it. It's just you don't really have a choice. If everyone else is doing it, and it's that kind of looking around going like, if I'm not doing it, does it look like I don't care, or am I not going to get ahead? And because it's all about this, where you can get ahead, you can improve, you can, I don't know, eat the American apple pie dream. And so it keeps them on this treadmill. I think it would be great if actually people could earn more than minimum wage doing something that they love. But I think when there is more money and more corporate people to please, then yes, there's more tick boxes, there's more hurdles to go over. It becomes a different movie.
It does. So it feels like The Exorcist could be the answer to this next one as well. But what was the first film you watched that you felt grown up?
I was thinking about this, and I think I feel like for a lot of women my age, it was this movie for them, and it's Grease.
Okay, I've never seen it.
You've never seen it? Oh my gosh!
No.
I mean, I did think that's why I said at the beginning, I might be aging you out on all these ones, but Grease for me was just this moment of someone really realizing who they were in Sandy. Olivia Newton-John was amazing. That kind of sweet innocence that she had, and then trying to fit in a new school, and just there were so many kind of things. I mean, it's ridiculous that they're playing high schoolers when you look at them all, and they're all like 35.
God, yeah.
And even just how women and men who were 35 now look so much younger than they did then, because back then,
yes,
they look all like they're in their 40s, and they're like, hey, skipping around. But the things it was, and I think it's because also I was living in the UK, so to see America, and it felt like this is American high school, and it was full of singing and dancing and being cool and going to a drive-in and track and men with quiffs, and it just felt kind of grown up. It felt like, oh my God, that's an exciting life too. aspire to. It's also full of humor with the Bing Bong
Yeah.
Rydell High and Beauty School Dropout and pursuing your dreams and trying to find out who you are and how you fit in the gang. There were lots of things that actually were about growing up in Greece. And then it's also about identity and who we are when we really love someone, because she was a square and he was a cool dude, and so he became more of a jock. And the whole last bit
Yeah.
that he puts a cardigan on and all his friends are ribbing him because he's taken off his leather jacket, and she's put on the sexy pants and the boob tube and made her hair curly. And so like they kind of meet each other, but it is also, has she really kind of let go of being an innocent and kind of moving into womanhood? So, and I think the music was fun. It was a time when the charts were like played on the radio on a Sunday night. My sister and I used to be Sandy and Danny, you know what I mean, in our front room.
Yeah.
We'd have to take it in turns, who was the girl and who was the boy, and we would lip sync to it.
Nice.
Really nice for our parents having to watch that every Sunday, because it was.
But they loved it.
I think it was number one for about 12 weeks or something ridiculous. You know what I mean? The song really went bananas. And there was, you had to learn all the moves because there was a moment on the kind of like in a fairground. And it just is a upbeat, fun, funny, at times kind of bordering on sexy, because Rizzo was kind of a woman who was loose in inverted commas, but wasn't really at all. She was in love with someone. It's just that they were having sex at that time, which also felt so risque to me as a young kid. But it was just like, it really did make me think, okay, I can't wait to be a grown up, and I can't wait to be in that American high school with, Danny Zuko.
I know what you mean about the American high school thing. Like growing up with films like American Pie for me, where there's that whole thing of like, oh, my school is like, for me, The In-Betweeners was the perfect, like, that's what school was like. That's me. I'm the dweeb. There are cooler kids, and me and my mates are doing fuck all. And then whenever you watch films, you're like, oh, these guys, there's hijinks. There's some titties running around. Why haven't I got any of this business? I've just got hijinks with myself. And, you just think like, I wish I had all of that going on. And then you watch all of those Porkies, all those films. You're just like, man, teenage years should have been a lot more than they were. And then when you look back as an adult, you're like, oh, thank Christ. Thank Christ I had a normal childhood.
Yeah, they weren't real.
They weren't real, and they're not healthy adults now, those people, that's for sure.
That's right.
Also, I was a rockabilly for a while. I had the quiff, white T-shirts, turned up jeans. I was one of those guys when I was about 20, 21. And I hadn't seen Grease at that point. And because I dressed like that and listened to all that kind of stuff, where people were like, oh, so you like Grease? I'm like, shut up, mate. So I just couldn't do it. And now it's just been too long,
Right.
I'd have to actively go and watch Grease in like I'm going to watch Grease as a man who's nearly 40 and never seen it. Like, that's what I'm going to have to do. And I don't know if I got it in me. I
understand. And also as well, a lot of people say that Grease 2 was better, which is controversial. But I haven't seen Grease 2. Yeah, Michelle Pfeiffer. But a lot of people say it was better. So you could only do it as an experiment, I think, Ted. You'd have to kind of do it just as a like...
I'll do it then. I'll watch both back to back. That's how I'll do it. I almost did that with all of the police academies because I realised I'd only ever seen the first one. And then I rewatched the first one with the stonest of faces for the whole hour and a half. Like, what is this? And I was like, I'm not watching 6 more of these shits. I can't do it. Fuck them. So yeah.
How we remember things and actually how they are when we revisit. Yeah, interesting.
You speak very highly of Grease, but is that a film that holds a special place in your heart?
No, the one that I'll always return to is Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Lovely.
If that movie is on, I will stop everything to watch it. It doesn't matter where it is. I will stop and I will sit and I have to have about between 15 and 30 minutes afterwards in recovery.
Yeah.
Um, and it's kind of interesting because if I think about this, I remember once when I was just leaving college, I was in my early 20s, and I was watching Breakfast at Tiffany's, and that's also, I love that movie too. And at the end, when she's going, cat, cat, and she starts searching, and then he comes and he gets her, and she's like looking in the rain. And my friend at the time said to her daughter, "Oh, look at Auntie Felicity crying at her life," which made I was like, oh, oh,
Cheers.
oh, thank you. But I mean, I have always had a cat. Do you know what I mean? So, and I was like,
Yeah.
just go down and pet my cat. You know, I mean, it's just like, hang
Yeah.
on, I'm not a prostitute, but anyway, that was
Yet.
yes. I mean, let's see what happens next few years.
Never say never.
Never say never. Yeah, indeed. But Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is kind of that same thing in the fact that it reminds me of so many of the relationships that I have been in, loved, lost, would do again, would I? That question about love and how we see each other, and if we knew it was going to end, but we knew we were in it, and we had the good bits, would we do it again?
Yeah.
A bit like Arrival, the plot of
Mm-hmm.
Arrival. Well, the subplot of Arrival, not the whole thing, but about her daughter. So I feel like that is my thing about it, because I'm obviously a huge romantic in here somewhere. And I love it when people are in love. I love watching people in love. I've enjoyed the moments when I've been truly happy and in love. Have been, it's such an amazing thing to feel these feelings and looking at someone that you care about. So there's that element to it. But then I just loved all the sci-fi. I loved all the imagery.
Yeah.
And then you see Mark Ruffalo as a really young man and Kirsten Dunst, and just like it's full of incredible performances. And Tom Wilkinson and Elijah Wood. And then also, of course, I'm a big fan of Kate Winslet. She's an amazing woman.
Oh,
just incredible human, great actress. I love how she's staying in her own natural face.
right.
I think how she stands up for herself and women in film is amazing. And Jim Carrey is my Dick Van Dyke. If I could meet that man, I would. And I don't know if I'd be able to say anything, but who he is as a performer, how he has chosen the roles that he has in his life and learned from them. It feels like his life has been a work of art for us all to participate in and watch. And
I really enjoy the sort of the nihilistic version he's turned into, that's still full of joy, but also like, none of this matters. It's all silly. We're just living. And it's like, well done, Jim. Well done. Keep telling everyone that. Like, enjoy it. Don't get fooled into it. Just enjoy it. But yeah.
Yeah. And the fact that he's an artist, and
yeah,
in this Eternal Sunshine, he is so raw and real. And I think because before that, we'd only really see him pulling loads of faces and doing lots of things very physically. So to see him so measured and controlled in a way, but so full. There's a whole thing about screen acting where you can't move around a lot, but it doesn't mean to say that you aren't full of character and full of performance. It's still in there. But some people, it doesn't feel like it translates in the same way, whereas it just feels like when you look at him, everything is alive. I feel it's the same with Kate Winslet. She has that same thing. It's you never feel like it's acting. It's just real embodiment. And yeah, it's a 10-star movie.
And with Jim Carrey, he's got that same thing that Robin Williams had, where it was, that behind all that laughter and silly faces and energy, there is someone who is fucking worn out and tired and sad. So when they finally get to play that role, it's so well achieved that you're just like, oh God, like, we're watching this character, but we're also watching Jim Carrey. Like, we're also watching like Robin Williams after everything that's happened, and you just see this sort of completely broken, sad husk that is still giving it everything, and you're just like, well done. Like, I do think comedians can give better dramatic performances than a dramatic actor trying to do a comedy thing. It's just like, no, there's something about it that it doesn't go the other way. Like, the funny people can be more dramatic, but dramatic people can't quite always be funny. And it's an interesting sort of duality in that.
No, it's a timing thing for me, but you're absolutely right. And I'm not sure that after saying, I love Kate Winslet and everything, that she did a great job in The Holiday. I felt The Holiday the timing was quite like slight misfire.
Yeah.
But then also she's dealing with Cameron Diaz, who is a master. She's a master
Yes.
comedian. So,
Yes.
and Jack Black. I mean, that was a tough crew of wonderfulness. And Jude Law, sort of, very nice on the eyes. But
I think Jude Law as well I think he's better than we've allowed him to be. I think he was thrown into heartthrob status, and it's like, I think he could have given us some quite interesting roles had he not had to jump straight into that.
Did you see The Order?
With Nicholas Hoult?
Yeah.
Yes, he was fucking excellent in that.
God.
He was so good in that.
That was my favourite movie. That was 2024, I think, right?
Yeah.
That was my favourite movie of 2024. I just was like...
I saw it at Austin. It was good.
I went because I hadn't really looked at what it was about, but I do like a noir thriller. So I'm a thriller fan. So I thought...
And I like Nicholas Hoult.
Yeah, I mean, he's an incredible actor too. I mean, and he's so good in this. And same as Jude Law. But I just went with my friend, and we both sat there, and I could feel us both in absolute silence, mesmerized. The way that they shot the country as well, the landscapes, and there was a drone, and this kind of like the sound mix was so intense. So you felt, I mean, it felt like my body was humming alive with the threat and the worry and the presence of evil. It was, and it's such a lesson to what's happening in the States right now. And they, taking something from the 80s to say, oh yeah, remember then? And just this whole Nazi and the fascism that's happening there now. Incredible movie. And I just think he is insanely good in it.
Yes. And that role specifically, I did watch it thinking like, ooh, you know how Jeff Bridges went away, came back old? I hope this is what Jude Law's is. He's went away, and now he's going to come back as not the heartthrob. He's going to come back as quite a gruff, good, gnarled up actor. And if he gets more roles like it, I'm all here for it. I love it.
Yeah. No, I think that's it. He did a really good job of being an American, one, you know what I mean? So I believed him. And then two, rocking their moustache. Not everyone can do that.
Yeah, not everyone can. A lot of people are trying it.
and they
shouldn't. Failing miserably. They shouldn't be doing it. I will say, I've got Indian heritage and I can't grow one. It's disgusting.
Oh, I'm sorry for you.
Miserable. Thank you.
I've started growing odd hairs out of my top lip, if that makes you feel any better, and I wish I didn't.
See, some people get all the luck.
I know.
I'm over here wanting it, you're getting it.
Yeah, I'm getting random strays, very coarse and harsh.
Are you bleaching or plucking?
Plucking, yeah. You'll see women of a certain age that if they're like stroking the corner of their top lip, they've just found one that's suddenly grown very long overnight, impossibly so. And then it has to be, and then you're out and about. The only good thing is if you're out with people your own age, they won't be able to see it. If you're out with a young person, they'll be like, "What's that?" And you'll be like, "Ah!" So
nothing. I've got to go home.
I must leave immediately.
I've had a lovely evening. Goodbye.
You haven't had your dinner. I'm sorry. There's something urgent.
Look, at my age, you can't have supper after 8. It's early bird for a reason.
On my moustache hair.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
So, what is your controversial opinion on a famous film?
I had to think about this. I mean, because I feel like It's a Wonderful Life is a famous film that everyone has an opinion about. I mean, I was also thinking about Barbarian. I was also thinking about Weapons, but I think It's a Wonderful Life because of it's kind of billed as a cozy Christmas movie, but it's really the opposite.
Yeah. Starts with a kid almost drowning.
Yeah.
Like, wait,
And
doesn't the brother? No, the brother doesn't die. Does the brother die? He goes deaf.
yes.
Yes.
And I
Yeah,
think,
that's not funny.
well, no, and I think it's just as well, like it's, he's going to the bridge to go and kill himself.
Mm.
Um, and then you kind of realize that he has, he gets to see the town without him. That's as we know, that's the main premise of it. Um, but I mean, things were bad without him. That is true. So therefore, him wanting a bigger life, him wanting to go and see other countries, him wanting not to be married and have kids, is kind of then said you needed to have a life of sacrifice and to be the kind of meek person. And I think also for his wife,
Mm.
she was, when he wasn't there, she was a librarian and unmarried and frightened and alone. That not being married really ruined her.
And she
And
was nothing without
yeah, and timid, and and I think that is, so it's kind of, it's, there's a lot going on there which are of its time, that's for certain. But I think it's about duty and like staying in your place, and not really having dreams, and uh, being a good person.
Well, it really is pushing the American dream of like, oh, you can do anything you want as long as you clock in 9 to 5.
Yeah, and you never really
Yeah.
um, push any boundaries, and
Why have you travelled around the world? We've got snow and sun in this country. Don't spend tourism dollars outside of the US. Come
don't
on.
get a
Come on.
passport. I mean,
Whoa,
so
whoa,
many
whoa, whoa.
Americans.
That sounds like a commie thing, all right?
So I think that's my controversial take on that. It's just like it's seen as like this, like, oh, it's so sweet, and it's like George,
Mm.
and oh my God, and the angel Clarence, um, trying to do his, and he's all chubby. So, um, so I think that's my controversial take on that.
I think it's an interesting one. I think it's a good one. I like it.
Thank
You
you.
don't hear much hate for Jimmy Stewart, and I appreciate.
I don't. Yeah, it's not him. I mean, he does an amazing job of actually kind of making him almost us almost buy it. You know what I mean? We buy it.
Mm.
We're like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
you're right. You should stay there. And oh my God, but also the guy that steals the money gets away with it. You know what I mean? The banker guy that wants to, he steals half the town, and he's
it feels like Revolutionary Road would be a really good sort of double bill with It's Wonderful Life, because that's about a man who wanted more, and then his wife dying means he has to stay in this life now, regardless of what he wanted.
right.
And you can see Leo's face just die inside at the end of that film. It's great. That's kind of the life that he was going to leave, enjoy in Wonderful Life.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
another Winslet performance that was wonderful.
Yes. I haven't watched it because I remember at the time she was. I mean, that I was directed by her husband at the time, Sam Mendes,
Yeah.
wasn't it? And I kind of remember all that kind of messiness. He was having an affair. I I've already been married and I didn't like it. So I was like, I don't know if I think it's just going to reaffirm everything I think about being married.
Marriage Story came out during my divorce,
Oh.
and it was like, have you seen Marriage Story? And I was like, why the fuck would I watch that? I am going through it, man. Like, I don't fucking need to watch some other prick do it.
And you're a bit Adam Driver adjacent. I mean, like, you could be.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very handsome.
I mean, I like his surliness as well.
He's an extremely good actor, I think.
He is a good actor. And don't think I didn't miss you saying handsome man. I'll take it. So what have you been watching recently?
Well, I mean, I feel like I've been a bit rubbish because I've been leaving a country and moving back to the UK, and
True.
then going to Cannes, then then I went to Cannes and then Tribeca,
Oh,
and then I went,
oh,
but I haven't had much time basically to go to the movies. But I did see Hail
what,
Mary.
what are you
Um,
doing on the planes?
yeah, and I was trying to remember. I mean, I
Reading?
did watch some on the actually. I worked all the way out there because I was doing that proof of concept, so I was contracts and everything. But and on the way back from Tribeca, I did actually watch some movies. But I was trying to. I watched three-quarters of F1. I used to
Okay.
enjoy the Formula One. I used to watch it when I was in the UK. It
Okay.
was kind of fun to see that again, and I do like watching Brad Pitt. So it was kind of fun, but I was enjoying the other performances in that movie too. But I think I was thinking back to the things I've really enjoyed, and it was I really enjoyed the Wicked movies. And then I thought, as we were talking today about these big studio movies and these massive sets that are chitty chitty bang bang and singing in the rain and that kind of old school and Wicked in a way, I guess now I'm reflecting on
Yeah.
it, it reminds me of that because they built the sets and
Yes.
it wasn't CGI and it wasn't AI, it was real daffodil fields to run through, and
And they are singing. They are singing.
they are
It's
yes,
like
we're talking about that
that's
triple threat or something. The other, I mean,
true.
Cynthia
I
Erivo.
wouldn't say Ariana Grande can act, but she can definitely sing.
I thought she was pretty good in this. I mean, I feel like, I mean, my thing about it is that what she has done is she's taken every single moment and done something with it. So Cynthia Erivo sits in the performance more, but actually it's less weirdly compelling to me because Ariana Grande, I can see her like, and now I'm thinking, she's working and working and working. That somehow in this slightly heightened world of the musical
Mm.
works for me. If it was a drama, I'll be like, hey, go tone it down. Do you know what I mean? That's too much. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like somehow in this, and playing the character of Glinda with that kind of very preciseness and the need for perfection and this insecurity that's coming from trying to be magic when you're not.
Sure. Yeah.
She kind of doing all that stuff reinforced it for me. And then I think it was just such an ambitious project, and they shot it in the UK, so 10 stars. So much work for so many
Hmm.
film and creative people in the UK, and I really thought it was brave and I mean so much money, but it was
Yes.
also about female friendship. So I guess that's the other thing about
Yeah.
it. It lent into that element. So I really understood that it was about these two women at the core. I mean, and Jeff Goldblum's always good value, isn't he? Let's be honest.
Yes.
But and even with the press tour and how they behave with each other, and I don't mind all that stuff. I know some people have found it kind of repelling and annoying, and just like, is it real? Is it not real? I don't mind all that stuff.
What's the
What I
matter?
what I
Yeah.
loved was just these sweet people who did something that was really hard and a lot of work, and they were on set for a really long time together.
Mm.
And we see the like polished end piece of this, but things went wrong all the time,
Yeah.
And I remember that she got burnt on Ariana got burnt on the leg or something when they were ironing something. Like there's all these other little things that kind of happen, and I just think it was such a sweet love story of those two women enjoying doing this incredible movie together where they were the leads and it was all about them, and
Yeah.
I enjoyed that for it.
Excellent. I haven't watched it, not for any reason other than it. It doesn't. It doesn't spark my interest from a musical perspective,
Right.
and from a performance perspective, it's not people that I would seek out for their performances. Jonathan Bailey, maybe, but like
Mm-hmm.
not anyone else. But it's not to say that it's something that I would never watch. It's just something that will never, it just wouldn't, come up. It's a bit like, what was the new Emerald Fennel? What was that
Oh,
Emerald Fennel?
Burst, like the one with
No, the one with
Saltburn.
not Saltburn. What's the adaptation she just did? The Jane Austen one.
Oh, the Wuthering Heights. Yeah, I didn't want to see
Wuthering
that.
Heights.
Yeah.
That's another one. I'm not taken by it in any way, but and another guest on the podcast had mentioned that Emerald Fennell had said that she had written her version of the film as if it was through the eyes of a 15-year-old picturing how the book was going. And I was like, oh, I would watch that thinking that. Right. If I'm going in thinking I'm going to see an adaptation, I'm going to be disappointed, whatever. But if I'm thinking this is a 15-year-old's sort of, or a preteen sort of mental projection of how she read the book, I might watch that film a bit differently. And now I will go watch it. So with Wicked, it seems like it's not something that I will instantly dismiss as like, I'm never going to watch that, because I'll watch any film. But what does it matter if I watch any film? But when someone sort of gives another reading of it, then I'm a bit more like, okay, yeah. Like if I'm not ready for it to be the reading I think it's going to be, I'll wait till someone else tells me read it in another way. So I will watch it eventually, but just not straight away.
You're going to watch Grease and Grease 2 first.
Exactly. I'm going to see how I feel with what I would consider modern musicals.
I love the fact that our tastes are so in different places.
Well, Singing in the Rain is one of my favourite films. So I like a musical. Blues Brothers, I like a musical. But yeah, not Wicked.
Yeah, I get it. I was just trying to think of things that I really enjoyed. I was trying to think, because Arrival is one of my most, Arrival is the second, and The Truman Show. I mean, there are some like ones that would stop me in my tracks and I will always sit down and watch. But I was trying to think of something modern that I really enjoyed, that I just came out and I felt like elated or moved in some way. And I haven't really, other than that.
I will say Denis Villeneuve's, I can't pronounce his name, and I'd like to make it as offensive as possible when I try. But their films, I think, are always, they're proving, since Prisoners, his films have really proved to be like, oh, they are very good. So whenever I left things like that, or the Dunes, or his Blade Runner Arrival, there's that feeling of like, this is a film. This is a good film, you know? And Paul Thomas Anderson is another one that's for me. I always watch Paul Thomas Anderson film and think, this is a film. This is a film I want to watch and I want to enjoy it, and I enjoy it and it's good.
Yeah. So, that's one battle after another, right?
I really enjoyed One Battle After Another. Like, a lot. More than I expected I would.
Yeah, yeah. I want to see that. I haven't seen it yet.
Though, when it comes to new things, I get a bit annoyed with new things. Like, you mentioned Weapons in your controversial. You didn't say anything, you just skirted it. I was really annoyed with Weapons. I was really annoyed with Sinners. Like, there's films that are considered really top shelf, and I just look at them like, yeah, if you've never watched a film before, you might think that was good. But if you've watched 2 films, you know these aren't very good. And it just annoys me. But then I become a smug film wanker. So
I just thought the story of Weapons wasn't very good. And I think that's my problem with it. It didn't have any depth to it. And actually in the cinema, because my friend and I used to go to this AMC in the Grove, and we used to smuggle wine in. So you can buy wine there, so we'd buy a bottle of wine there, but then we'd always want another. So we'd had 2 bottles watching Weapons, because I think we felt like we needed it. And at the end, when they were running around with their arms out and they were kind of landing on her, we were crying, laughing. I mean, the cinema I'd already started laughing earlier, but we were crying. It was hilarious. And I felt like everyone else started laughing too. And I don't know whether some places they were like, oh, this is, or whether it was supposed to be funny. But honestly, it killed me. I was absolutely crying.
It annoyed me because Zach Kreger said, we didn't know what we were doing. We were just making it up as we were going along. And it was like, you don't fucking say, Zach. Like, that's exactly what it looks like. But I think I might have already said this, like, you're not in a position to do that, because if you fuck around, the studios won't take a risk anymore. Like, so you kind of have to, when you get to the Martin Scorsese's, when you get to maybe not even Catherine Bigelow anymore, but like if you get to like a certain level of filmmaker where you can go, I'm going to do this, and the studio goes, crack on, Chris Nolan, let's say, then you can afford to like fuck around and find out. But if you're making your second like studio feature, and you start saying things like, we were just fucking around, then the studios aren't going to try and give money to younger filmmakers or like new up and coming filmmakers, because they'll be like, nah, we need some people who aren't going to fuck around. And it's like,
I feel like Obsession and Room 24. Is it Room 24?
Backrooms?
Backrooms and Obsession might kind of like open that door again. But I totally agree that if you are in that position, don't, even if that is what happened, don't say things like that, because it does make executives nervous. And if you want them to try and help other young filmmakers that are coming through, emerging people, then we need to say that everyone's taking it very seriously, because it is, even if it is a low budget movie, it is still millions of dollars or millions of pounds. So I think the fact that they hadn't worked out I feel like the piece was the kids. They hadn't really worked out they were just in a basement. They hadn't really worked out what that meant, and they hadn't really. It was just.
At the beginning, they say the kids were never seen again, and then at the end, they all go home.
Yeah.
And then they tried to they had to put in the text afterwards after a screening, because people were saying like, well, that doesn't make sense. So they just did a little epilogue that was like, oh, they were never seen again in like a metaphorical sense. And it was like, fuck off. Just fuck off, man. Like, and I really like Barbarian, so I was really like, you son of a bitch.
That's interesting. Yeah, no, Barbarian. It was such an uncomfortable watch, which I really loved, especially that first half where you were like, don't do that, don't go down, don't go in the thing. I mean, like, it just literally all the red flags.
Yeah.
And then it became a completely different movie. Suddenly we're in California, like la la la, you know, and but I felt like that became for me a bit grotesque, and I think it's just because I know it's trying to say that women are abused by men, but
where's any proof of that? I don't know why you've got to bring this. Why are you going to make this political?
But that making him like suck on her boob and you know, that was unnecessary. Also, her being naked, unnecessary. Her being a monster and a witch, unnecessary. You know what I mean? That dude keeping women locked downstairs, that's bad enough. It should have just been someone that was in an absolute state and become ravaged or because of what he has put her through. So it's a real thing, rather than it removed something by making her a monster and then also making her naked and in that situation, balding, weird. I mean, it was just all that stuff. I was like, I like the things I liked about it were, I liked the fact that you were not allowed to talk about it. You know, I mean, don't tell anyone. And that stuff, I love all that lore. I love all that exciting thing about creating a mystery around a project, trying to get people interested. And they really did do such a good job of putting it in a few theatres and it growing and growing and growing. And that I admire so much. So 10 stars.
That is the same sort of William Castle kind of filmmaking approach, where it's like, we're going to make a film called The Tingler, and I'm going to put electric shocks in all the seats. And, you know, it's like, excellent, perfect. Like, that's great. And then there's going to be a bit where the film breaks the fourth wall, the projection booth breaks down, and then Vincent Price narrates the film saying, hold on, the projectionist is going to try and fix this. And then the electric shocks go off in the seat and everyone thinks the Tingler's running through the aisle. Love it.
Wow.
That's how you make a film.
That's cool.
That it was also the 50s and 60s where you could get away with that shit, but still.
Interactive.
Very good stuff. Well, thank you very much for coming on. It's been lovely.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It was a real pleasure. And I'm sorry that I've watched lots of films that you haven't.
Oh, no, it's great, because now I get to fill in my watch list with, you know, cinema like Grease 1 and 2. Eh?
The important movies in life. What's your most favourite movie so far at the moment for 2026?
I'm going to have to pull up my letterbox, because I did see something recently which I thought was spectacular. And it might have been One Battle. Diary? No. Films. Oh, Project Hail Mary.
Oh.
Like, I read it and then I watched it, and the book was a 5-star book and the film was a 5-star film. Like, I loved it.
It is cute.
It it sort of felt like it was treating the audience with respect for a change. A lot of films don't seem to do that. They think you're an idiot. And this film felt like there was wonder, there was sci-fi, there was stakes, there was everything it should have been for a big old sci-fi epic. Ryan Gosling actually showed some emotion for a change and not just his normal himbo kind of aesthetic. And that was really fun. So I would say Project Hail Mary was probably the best film I've seen this year in sort of like big cinema, let's say.
Yeah, I agree. I think it. I mean, Grok is it called Grok? What's
the AI?
Yeah, the alien. What's the alien's name?
Oh,
it doesn't matter. But I thought I think I want to call it Grok, but I don't want to call it because it's not.
No, Grok is Musk's AI.
Rocky.
There we go. Yes, because he says his partner would be called Adrian.
Yeah. So, yeah. And I mean, I thought Rocky. I like the handling of the alien because I think aliens quite often, like horror, the use of the other is a way to make us hate other people. So basically it's to make us more racist, more homophobic, more sexist, more misogynistic, using the other. And we use aliens as one of those ways to say that other people that unlike you are bad. And I feel like that's used quite a lot as a trope in sci-fi. So I really enjoyed how Rocky is portrayed. And I think the relationship of between the two of them, and you're right, Ryan Gosling acting with a person in a suit, you know what I mean, or whoever they did that is kind of amazing. And and it was really moving when Rocky survived and he didn't know whether he was going to not. But I did think there were too many endings and it's a bit long. It definitely needs a little bit of a trimming. And I think you need to work out what the real ending is, what the real button is.
So I had just read it when I watched it. Kirsty, my partner, hadn't read it. So seeing her witness the Rocky will he, won't he make it was wonderful.
Right.
Like, I didn't tell her. And I was like, Rocky, what's going to happen? And she's like, why am I crying over a fucking rock? And I was like, because he's amazing. When it got to about 20 minutes towards the end, I got a bit worried because I was like, the book, there is a big old, like the end third of this book, maybe the last quarter, hasn't been spoken about yet.
Right.
And I feel like I don't know how we're going to get there. And then they very quickly sort of wrapped it up and they covered it. And I'd actually say it's one of those films where it's like, oh, I would have taken an extra half an hour of that film to establish that ending a bit more, because I think that the ending, I guess because I just read it, like I knew how the whole story was meant to unfold, but I did like how they ended it in the film. I don't know, maybe I'm going to buy it when it comes out.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's so sweet when they're all there and it feels hopeful and kind. And in a world that sometimes isn't feeling very hopeful or very kind, to have something that feels like partnership and taking care of, and you know, and just sweetness. I enjoyed that piece of it.
I think it's nice as well that they didn't make such a big song and dance about him leaving Earth. He had no attachment to it.
Yeah.
Just going. And it was like, oh, good. Because there would be that whole thing of like, does he have to go back for her? Will they? Won't they? What's going to happen? And it's like, no. He realizes there's nothing for him there and he's more interested in the exploration. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Worst film I've seen so far is Disclosure Day.
I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard terrible things about it. It's such a shame.
It is such
a shame.
Many
ideas like plonked in, and E.T. at times. I mean, I've heard like all sorts from people are saying.
I thought there was a point at the end when we were going to find out that this was actually like a legacy sequel to Close Encounters, and I was ready to change it all and be like, this film's amazing. And it didn't do that, and it was shit.
Oh, I'm sorry. I know, it's a shame because the trailer looks really good.
Yeah, I was in. I was all bought and paid for. I went to the IMAX, and It was not. Not good. You sound like Emily Blunt. I'm sure you're told that, and I'm sure that annoys you.
I didn't know that. I am a big fan of Emily Blunt, and the reason why I like her so much is because she is 1000% herself at all times. In all of those interviews, excuse me, and all of the press tours, and also she's always giggling. She must be such a
Yes.
riot to be around. She plays continually, and I love her relationship with John Krasinski.
Yeah.
From the outside looking in, it looks like a very nice one, and
Yeah.
and I'm just. She's having a really fabulous life, and I'm so pleased for her,
Yeah.
And
Like, I watched Sunshine Cleaning, a
oh,
2008 film with Amy Adams. It was great.
yes.
And
My God, was
watching
that her in it? Because I
yeah,
watched it because of like Amy Adams back in the day. Oh my God, I watched it when it came out. So that was Emily. Because I
that was
mean,
Emily
I've just
Blunt.
watched Devil Wears Prada again. I actually watched the original just before, um, just recently because I wanted to watch the second one. I haven't
Mm.
seen it yet, but and I thought she was so good in that. I mean, she was likable whilst being a terrible person, which is a very
Yes.
hard job.
It's very hard. She does that quite well. Like,
Mm.
it's difficult. But yeah, it was her in Sunshine Cleaning, and she was wonderful in that. And the fact that you can still see the way she acted in that film, which I think was 2008, like, there are still elements of that exact same actor in the things she's doing now. And you just think, well done. Well done. You've maintained a sort of, you've definitely grown as an actor, but you've also kept what's you in that performance.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really good. And yeah, it was really good. I really enjoyed that film.
Yeah, it's fun. I remember it back in the day. God.
Yeah.
Hmm. Well, thank you anyway. Thanks for having me. You are amazing, and
Well, thank you, you
you do
too.
an amazing job of making everyone feel very comfortable, which is
Oh, good.
a very essential piece.
This has been a Lovable Rogue Productions podcast. Thank you to everyone that listened. If you want to help out your life in film, then download it, like it, share it, and give the pod a follow. I didn't realise till starting this that a download is the way they measure success and not just a listen. So, listening means nothing. Make sure you check out my guests on their socials, which will be in the description of the episode. Take a look at my letterbox. I've made a list of all the films that have been mentioned on the pod. There's fucking hundreds. So you can find some good films there. Yeah, there are some good ones. There's some fucking weird ones, and I love them. Quick shout out to some of the podcasts I'm listening to. Caliber 9 from Outer Space. That's Robin Joe's. That's really good. And then The Villain Was Right. That's a great fun. Check that out. If you really want to be a mensch, give me that money. There's a link in the description. It'll explain it all. But a download and a share is excellent, and I actually appreciate that a lot more than you'd think. We currently have no sponsors, but I am open to them. I'll shill anything. I don't care. This has been a Lovable Rogue production. Thank you for listening.